Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at a battle in the Tirpitz, and you can see, of course, that I am grouped up today as well with Rommel and Mouth. Rommel in the Hipper, and Mouth is in the Thotgor. Not looking to do too much in this battle. I've been sailing around my premium ships a lot more as of late, and this is because I'm attempting, or rather I need to get a bunch more money, because I have a few ships that I'm really close to buying. I actually, the other day, purchased the Frederick de Gross, so I have the tier 9 German battleship now, and I'm maybe about, I'll say 30,000 experience away from the tier 9 French cruiser, St. Louis, and that is what I'm actually saving up for, is a St. Louis. I don't have however many credits it is, so this is what's leading to me playing a lot more of my premium ships, but also what led to today's battle. We are on Mountain Range. Not one of my favorite maps, not one of my favorite maps at all. I really also don't like spawning over here on the western side of the map where the A point is, because I think that fighting over here is just ridiculous. But anyway, that being said, it doesn't matter what I think about the situation. The situation is what it is, so I'm going to attempt to make the best of it, right? Now, obviously, I have a little bit of an advantage here, having both Mouth and Rommel here with me, providing cruiser support, critical cruiser support, I might add. So there is incentive, right, for me to go this way, and there is a good chance that it's going to end up well for me as well. So, all right, okay, we'll go this way. It'll happen. Now, we see some enemies start popping up, right? We can see an enemy destroyer, and this is sort of why I don't really like this map, and I don't like spawning over here, is because everyone always does rush into this A cap zone over here, those who spawn near it. And the battle at this A cap zone is critical. If you lose this battle at this A cap zone, you're pretty much lost the entire match if your team decides to go over here and fight at A. What I generally like to do is I do like to take B and C. I find that it usually does throw some enemies off now and then, right? Oh, there's a nice citadel. The enemy ships will all go to A, find that there's no one there. They maybe send a contingent of smaller ships to B. You can easily fight those off because the majority of your ships will be concentrated at B and capping C, thereby having those two caps, and you're able to defend B. Hopefully as well, by the enemies pushing through the little narrow gaps in between the islands, funneling their way to B while you guys just slaughter them away. And that's generally what I like to do on this map. It doesn't happen always, right? And again, you always have to play the situation you're dealt with, and again, in this case, my team wants to go over here, so I'm going over here. Again, good cruiser support though, so I'm okay. So we do see some enemies start popping up. I'm going to get myself a little closer. I don't know when it happened. It happened while I was taking a break from ships, but they increased the secondary battery range of the Tirpitz. It is now comparable to the Bismarck. This was something that took me by surprise. I was expecting, like, what was it before, like 7.4 kilometer range or something. Suddenly my guns start opening up on things that are like 10 kilometers away. It freaked the hell out of me. It was amazing. I'm very, very pleasantly surprised. But anyway, you can see that we do have some enemies popping up here, and I am again going to push in and try and get, put some pressure on the enemies here. Maybe get myself into the cap, maybe start capping it. But more importantly, just, trying to win the battle here at this point, because we have to win this battle. And I'm in the battleship, so it's kind of expected, rightly so, that I'm going to get myself up here in the front and protect, well, not protect, but act as like the spear, or the tip of the spear of the charge here to the cap, right? You can't expect your cruisers to do this sort of thing, because the cruisers are just going to get eaten up by the enemy battleships, especially in this scenario where we have two enemy battleships right over there. They're just going to eat up the cruisers, so no, you can't expect cruisers to do this. You can expect destroyers to go in and scout out and cap the zone for you. Yes, they can definitely do that. But if you want to start deleting enemy ships or taking on enemy battleships, you need one of your own battleships, and that is why it's so critical that battleship captains do in fact push forward and get themselves into the fight. Now, I was quite concerned that I was going to eat more than one torpedo there, and I was also quite concerned about the flooding, but luckily I managed to have my repair party up while that torpedo hit, so I wasn't actually affected by flooding. Whether or not there was flooding from the torpedo, I don't know, but I didn't actually suffer any flooding damage, and I'm going to say that it was because there was like 2 seconds left on that repair cooldown, so... Hooray for me. So we have some enemy battleships coming up, and we are engaging these players with our secondary battery, right? I was pretty much focused on the enemy battleships, trying to get these players down. What I wasn't focused on was the enemy Atlanta that's off on the starboard side of the ship. You can see those shells raining in down on top of me. Wasn't too concerned about that player. I really should have been a little more concerned. You can see we're going to launch our torpedoes here off of the enemy Nelson. Enemy Nelson is going to give us a nice broadside here as well, so hopefully we'll be able to just rack up a bunch of damage on the player, and there we go. There's, what, 2 citadels on that player, maybe 1, who knows. Allied torpedoes come in, enemy Nelson eats 1 of them, puts the enemy Nelson on very low health. My torpedoes go in, get him with 1 right on the stern, enough to finish him off. There we go. Enemy Atlanta. Yeah. Well, all of that was going on. Here I am, 3 fires, just about to die. It wasn't looking good for me. I'm trying to turn away. You can see my repairs on is now over, so I'm able to get that fire put out with a minuscule amount of hit points remaining. I got to get myself out of this whole situation. And again, this is another nice thing about having the battleship up front, to absorb all of that incoming damage, like right at the get-go, because now the 2 enemy battleships that were here contesting the point, they're gone, right? So now my cruisers, I can see Rummel and Mouth is on, you know, he's pushing up here as well, but you can see these players, my allies, are now pushing up, right, to get in there and start dealing with the Atlanta. So it really does work out well for the longevity of your pushes and the success rate of the pushes, to make sure that you have the battleships there up front, closely followed by cruisers, right? You want those cruisers to kind of sweep in and take over for the battleship once the battleship has dealt the damage, gotten rid of the other enemy battleships. Cruisers come forward and take care of any you know, enemy cruisers or destroyers that might be there as well. So it worked out pretty well for us. Now I'm going to continue to maneuver here. My repair party is on, or my heal thing is on is on cooldown. So I'm just trying to get myself, you know, sort of away from the battle for right now, so that can come off cooldown. I can use it and repair. You can see, in fact, we are repairing now. So this is good. This is good. I didn't die. I still might have a little bit more fight left in me, right? We do still have some enemy ships to take care of, so maybe there might still be some more damage to be had in this battle. That would be great. So we're going to turn ourselves around, and we're going to push up behind our allied cruisers, Rummel and Mouth. Get ourselves into a better position to put down some fire on these enemy ships off in the distance that we see here as well. Hopefully maybe get a few more citadels, maybe. Speaking about citadels, it just reminded me of those oil missions. Those are awfully great, aren't they? Now, I'm not in clan, so I don't have any use for the oil, but what I do have use for is the free experience and all those other lovely things that they are giving us. I was curious. I was wondering whether or not they were daily, but no. Speculation. I asked, well, I asked Sabine. Sabine knows. Sabine knows what's going on in the game. He tells me that he thinks maybe weekly is what we'd be looking at on those, and that would be just fine by me. I can go with you know, all the extra flags, camo, and credits that Wargaming wants to give me. I'll take it all. I don't care what I have to do for it. So getting closer in now on the enemies, you can see the enemies have capped C. Not too surprised. Not too surprised, because our allies split, right? We went A and C is what my team had done, and obviously you're not really going to be able to hold those 2 points, because you essentially have to take them independently, hold them independently. There's no support from you know, another group of allied ships who are on their way to another point. You don't get any of that support, so it's not surprising that one of those attacks has failed. Now, luckily for us, our attack at A has won, so we pretty much can say that this game is most likely going to end in our favor. There was that big battle there at A. We took down a lot of those ships. Now we just have a few enemy ships remaining. Chances are looking on are looking up for us anyway. So you can see that Russian destroyer over there, and I gotta say, those Russian destroyers are awfully annoying, aren't they? Just cruising around, setting you on fire. You can't hit them because they're so bloody fast. Oh, it makes me envious, I suppose. Maybe I should start playing my Russian destroyers more. Work my way on up. The one that comes top of the mind is Utiloi, because I always run into that thing, and it just just makes me very angry. But obviously the kebab as well is just a menace. But anyway, we're getting ourselves closer into B. You can see that I think Rommel took one torpedo there, and maybe Melth took a torpedo as well. Whatever, it did a bit of damage to them, no big deal. But we are getting now into better range for us to be able to do some more damage to some enemy ships here. And that's one thing that, you know, it should be said with the German battleships whenever you're sort of playing them or watching a video about them. It should always be noted that German battleships don't perform very well at range, at their max range. It's just their guns aren't accurate enough. It just doesn't happen very well for them. It does, you do land some nice shots, but it's far and few between. Really, with your German battleships, you want to play mid to close range. Mid-range is actually quite nice for the Tirpitz and like the Bismarck, because you know, your secondary batteries are going to start engaging at those ranges as well. So mid-range is quite nice. Close in, it can do pretty damn well as well. So we land a few shots there on some of the enemy ships off in the distance. We have that enemy shores over there, and I wasn't sure what this player was doing. I was like, buddy, do you realize that you are in a shores? And you're just gonna, like, basically stop broadside to my whole team? What are you doing, friend? Of course, my shots don't end up hitting the shores, obviously. But some of my allies are able to take advantage of that situation and do put a few shots into the shores. Didn't do as much damage as maybe I would have thought, but still, a bit of damage dealt. Now, we do see an enemy Bismarck, maybe, there off in the distance, and I'm going to actually do something pretty mean. It's coming up. Or it's guys, now, I got the Citadel, and I was all like, oh, I got a Citadel on the German battleship, that's damn near impossible, look at me go. And I can see all the torpedoes going into the allied, or the enemy ship, and yet I still fired and still took the kill from my friendly destroyer. Bit of a dick move. I don't recommend you do this. Heat of the moment stuff. I wasn't really paying attention, sure. But kind of a dick move. Anyway, that enemy battleship is gone. You can see Rommel does ram me, but whatever, no big deal. And we have another enemy battleship here in front of us. Enemy North Carolina sailing broadside. Perfect situation for us here in the Tirpitz. We will be able to do a whole bunch of damage to this enemy North Carolina if the player decides to continue broadside like he's doing. American battleships do not perform well broadside. You can end up doing a lot of damage to them very, very quickly. In fact, even landing citadels with, you know, pretty regularly. So it's not something that I would recommend you do if you can at all avoid it in your higher tier American battleships. Don't sail broadside to enemy ships. It's not a good idea. So we have some shells going in on the last remaining enemy destroyer. We're hoping to take the player down. I was actually hoping to get myself a close quarters expert. I could definitely use some more of those flags. But again, just so thrilled with the range increase on the Tirpitz. If you know when that happened, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to know when that took place. Obviously, it was during my break, because it was not like this when I left. So something has happened, or just throw that out there. I'm completely insane. I'm not going to say I'm not. So there's, you know, that as well. About 11,000 damage there to the old enemy North Carolina, so that's not too bad at all. We do end up setting a fire to the player as well with our secondary battery, of course, and in the meantime, we're racking up the damage, sitting on about 122,000 damage at this point in time. Not too shabby at all. Battle is basically over, right? We just took down the enemy North Carolina. We have one more enemy ship remaining. Not too sure what the last enemy ship is. But main thing is that we did manage to push through A and take B, right? That's pretty much the main thing. So there's the last enemy battleship. Oh, that thing looks like a Montana, maybe? It's a higher tier American battleship, but unfortunately for this player, reversed himself right into an island. I'm sure that island just came out of nowhere, but it's not going to end well for this player whatsoever. Now, I myself am on pretty low health, so I can't just sail broadside to this enemy battleship. She would definitely just blow me out of the water, so I do want to try and make an effort not to take too many shells. Enemy Missouri, that's what this is. 3 turrets on her is what I see. So enemy Missouri is what we're shooting at. So yeah, I didn't really want to take, you know, a big hit from the Missouri and end up going down. I really did want to survive. And you can see it's working out pretty good. I did land a few more shots into the Missouri as well. Did a bunch more damage. You can see the Missouri isn't really targeting me at this point in time. So I do seem to be making away, getting away with it. And there we go. Battle is over and victory is hours. Not a bad battle at all. I did very much enjoy it. So you can see when all is said and done, 146,000 damage. Got some of those anniversary gift things, got ourselves a Confederate, Dreadnought as well, obviously, is all the amount that we did repair. We finished a bunch of little missions down there, so that's not too bad. But I was most happy with the 511,000 credits that I earned, because I know I'm going to walk away with a whole crap ton once repairs and stuff are done anyway. Of course, did end up top of the team overall, although, you know, again, it should be noted that the team themselves did very well, right? Everyone except one person was over 1,000 experience, so everyone did very, very well indeed. And then, of course, when all is said and done, 424,000 credits is what I do end up walking away with, so hooray for me. I think I'm only at about 3 million credits now, so I still have probably another 12 million to save before I can buy the St. Louis, but whatever. Anyway, folks, that is today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to leave any comments you have for me in the video section below, or video comment section below. I love reading those, responding back to them. Remember to hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber, and of course, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.